Prednisone can cause bone loss even if you can't feel it happening. Let me explain how this happens and what you can do to stay safe. Hi, I'm Dr. Megan, your prednisone pharmacist, and I'm here to explain how prednisone causes bone loss. So first of all, what is prednisone? And then once you know what prednisone is, that explains how the prednisone can cause the bone loss. Prednisone is a medication that was invented to mimic our body's naturally occurring hormone called cortisol. And cortisol is our stress hormone that helps us survive when there's horrible things happening, like a famine or a plague or a war or a tiger chasing us. It is designed to help us get through a very short-term horrible situation so that hopefully we can survive. But it's doing that by cutting off your long-term priorities. Cortisol turns off your reproductive system. When there's a famine or a war, there are less babies born because there's so much stress, so much cortisol, making women less fertile. And that's just one of the long-term things that cortisol is turning off. Another long-term thing that we're hijacking for the purposes of helping with inflammation or helping counteract an autoimmune disease or helping with asthma, things like that. Another one of the things long-term that cortisol is cutting off in priority is your bone health. And so cortisol just wants you to get through. So it's giving you the energy to get away. And the way it's doing this is by stealing from your bones, your muscles, your liver. It's stealing the nutrition that you've been storing up. Think of your bones and your muscles like a savings account, that you have this bank account that you've been depositing over your lifetime, all of these important minerals and vitamins and fat and energy. You've been saving it up for this rainy day. And when you have this famine or this war, that's your rainy day. And so you're spending it. You're stealing all of these things from your long-term savings just to survive today. So the bone is the place where a lot of those things have been saved. And so you're losing bone, you're losing muscle, you're redistributing fat. So you can see this on people who take prednisone with the big round moon face and the big fat belly like Santa Claus. And some people describe it as looking like a watermelon with toothpick arms and legs because of the loss of muscle that is so dramatic and the redistribution of all of that to the middle area of the body. So prednisone is stealing specific things from the bones. First, it's stealing calcium. And this is incredibly well documented through many, many studies that prednisone steals calcium from the bones. And it's also stealing other nutrients like magnesium, potassium, collagen, and changing the balance of them, which is leading to bone loss or thinning of the bones. As this progresses over time, this can lead to bone breaks or fractures. It can lead to loss of height, a hunched over neck, like my grandma looked like when she was nearing the end of her life. And it can lead to osteoporosis, which is the full-blown diagnosis of porous bones or bones that have lots of holes in them. Like there's a lot of pores. If you look at lava rock or something like that, it has lots of pores. That's what the bone now looks like. And this formerly strong tree-like thing that could blow in the wind, now with a little bit of pressure, is going to just snap and break. And it becomes brittle. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants to lose the ability to walk because of hips being broken. Nobody wants to have to be in a care center for 6 months while getting a hip replacement. Nobody wants to have broken bones, or like my neighbor down the street was just trying to change a light fixture, climbed on a ladder, fell, crushed her calcaneus, which is her heel bone, and broke her wrist, both on the same side. So what do you do with someone like that? They had to leave her in a hospital for a week because she can't use crutches because she has a broken wrist and a broken foot. She can't use a walker because she can't put any weight on her wrist. Nobody wants to have to be normally healthy and then suddenly dependent on other people for everything. So she ended up being in a wheelchair. She's in a little electric wheelchair driven by her good hand so that she can get around because she can't put any weight on her foot. She can't put any weight on her wrist. And nobody wants that. So what can you do? Well, it makes sense that if prednisone is stealing these nutrients, that we give them back. And that's exactly what the doctors who prescribe prednisone the most have recommended. The American College of Rheumatology, their guideline updated most recently in 2022, but it was published in 2023, says that all people taking prednisone more than 2.5 milligrams a day should be replenishing their calcium and vitamin D. And they used to give numbers for precisely how much, but now they want you to look at the recommendations from the government for calcium for your age and your health situation. So, for example, if you're a woman who's postmenopausal, you need more than a man who's young. It's a different ratio of amount that you need. The other thing they changed was the amount of vitamin D you need. They used to prescribe 800 international units per day per person. But that is not reflective of the amount of vitamin D in your body. They actually now recommend that you test the levels of vitamin D using a blood test for the 25-hydroxy vitamin D levels and work with your doctor to get into the normal range for you. So that might mean loading up a lot of vitamin D at the beginning and then maintaining the amount of vitamin D over time. And then they also recommend lifestyle modifications. These include not drinking alcohol because alcohol can worsen bone loss, quitting smoking. Again, smoking can worsen bone loss, trying to stay in a healthy weight. Now, this doesn't mean everyone should lose weight. It actually means some people need to gain weight. So if a woman is lower weight, she's at a higher risk for osteoporosis. So, for example, if like my little tiny grandma, she was shrunken and so tiny, she's at the highest risk for osteoporosis because the postmenopausal loss of estrogen and the loss of weight, the combination of those are really hard on the bones. And so everybody should get to a healthy weight. So if you're underweight, try to gain strong muscles and bones. If you're overweight, try to get back to a normal weight, which is really hard to do while you're on prednisone, and I totally get it. But everybody getting to a healthy weight is a good strategy for preventing further prednisone-induced bone loss. And then the final thing they recommend is weight-bearing exercise, something that is putting impact on your bones. Things like walking, dancing, pickleball, whatever it is, where you are doing things that make your bones have little teeny tiny places where they have to get repaired. Because when it's getting repaired, it's coming back stronger. That's exactly why people go and do weightlifting, because it tears the muscles just a tiny bit enough that it comes back straight. That same thing being at least maintained, stopping the loss of bone caused by the prednisone, and hopefully doing things that increase the bone mass. We don't want to go from 0 to a marathon. We want to do it carefully and with intention and consulting exercise scientist, a physical therapist, or your doctor, but doing things regularly. I heard from someone just this week who said, "Oh, I didn't think I could exercise while I wasn't taking prednisone. I thought it was too dangerous." And actually, my doctor did tell me that as well, because the reason I was taking prednisone was I could have bled to death if I'd gotten in a bike accident or something. If I'd had any brain bleeds, I could have died immediately. So it's important to exercise, but keep it as moderate exercise. Because I never wanted to have to deal with the osteoporosis that my grandmothers both have. And I wanted to make sure that I was counteracting every single side effect if I ever had to take prednisone again. I invented a supplement that fulfills the guideline that the doctors in the American College of Rheumatology recommend. It includes the calcium and vitamin D and other nutrients that you need to prevent bone loss, like vitamin K2, MK7, that helps direct the calcium to the bones instead of depositing it in your arteries and hardening them, increasing your risk for heart disease. It also includes magnesium, which is really important to keep in the right balance with the calcium to strengthen the bones. And so that's called Nutranize Zone. It includes the nutrients stolen by prednisone, plus others to help you feel like yourself again. I included herbs, vitamins, minerals, all the things that you need. One-stop shop, just 2 bottles, 2 capsules in the morning, 2 capsules at bedtime, so that you can feel like yourself again while taking prednisone or while recovering from prednisone. You just go to nutranize.com or amazon.com to get Nutranize Zone today. Signing off is Dr. Megan, your prednisone pharmacist.